just to have access to Coach Prime, to sit down with him for an hour. I met with Coach Loadhold as well before, the new offensive line coach. So we had a very productive meeting about recruits and the body bag and a bunch of other shit. But just to be able to sit down with him, man, for a good hour and yuck it up and talk shop. And he's my friend on top of being Coach Prime. You know, there's a lot of people that think we don't like each other, and I really could give a shit what people think. If it's dropping the ball, I don't know what that means. I wasn't going in there to like attack him. I was going in there to talk to him and like have some fun. And
I think they think you're like Jim Rome.
Yeah, like I didn't go in there to eviscerate him and like attack him. There's nothing to attack him about. He's doing it. First year was what it was. We're not going to sit here and beat a dead horse. We talked about a lot of different stuff. You know, we're putting up a bunch of clips today, but we talked about rivalries and like we talked about the fight song, and he made some really good points on that. I got his Mount Rushmore of all-time greats on like hip hop and singing. So I'm not going to give that away, but that was pretty cool conversation. He's changing up the way the spring game weekend is, like really trying to empower his kids, and not just his kids, but the guys on the team. Look, man, I've kind of changed my mind a little bit on the way that he's doing business with all of the players. Like he's a businessman. I've got this picture in my office of Jay-Z, Sean Carter, and it says, "I'm not a businessman. I'm a business, man." And that's the way I feel and operate. That's the way Coach Prime feels and operates. I know that's the way a lot of entrepreneurs do. He's an inspiration to me. I mean, I look up to the man, and you can learn a lot from those guys. And I've been hard and critical on him in the past, and that's why the fanboys don't like me. But you know who does like me? Coach Prime. He's my guy. Like, right. You know, we talked about my son and like all the bullshit in Sports Illustrated and laughed about it. You know, talking about my boy, like it's my job to put my son on deck, just like it's his job to put his sons on deck. It's his job to put his players on deck and push them. It's my job to put my players on deck and push them. So, I mean, yesterday was just phenomenal. You can go on the podcast at 0 to 60 on YouTube. Please subscribe and like. I mean, Coach JB, bro, thanks for hooking me up with all the people at Believe. They've been incredible. Without you, none of this happens, dog. So that's the thing. Coach JB is about putting people on. This is what the community and relationships are about. I did not go up there to ostracize or like eviscerate Deion Sanders, for God's sakes. I went up there to learn something. I went up there to have a conversation with my friend who I also admire, the best corner that's ever played, to have some fun, some laughs, kind of lighten up the mood. And this is the other thing. A lot of y'all are just mad because you don't have access and you can't get in front of the man. You don't have the ability to sit down. You don't have the mutual respect. The fact that I can criticize and be constructive, and him and I are still very cordial and tight, and like we talked football. Yesterday we talked football off camera a lot. Like Coach Loadholt and I talked football off camera a lot. That is respect, son, and you can't buy that. You can't sell that. That can only be earned. So don't hate me because you ain't me, son. Pick your game up because my shit is rolling.
Hey, people, contrary to belief, I'm a Deion hater, apparently. I guess people don't realize that we talk all the time.
They don't listen, JB.
I don't think they realize that we talk too. And Deion tells me all the time, JB, keep being real, keep being you, love you, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you want, I'm not going to show you messages, but Matt knows. I mean, I don't care. I'm going to keep it real, and I appreciate somebody understanding that you should be real. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why that
makes me admire him even more, because we talk about this a lot all the time. There's nothing worse than the sensitive superstar.
Right.
Like, dude, this comes with the territory.
Right. You can't get all the praise and not get any criticism.
Exactly.
Like,
and he's teaching his sons how to deal with it, and Travis Hunter how to deal with it, who's a freak. Like, funny story, bro. We're walking in with my team to go up and interview Coach, and Travis just like comes through and walks by, and he's like, "Oh, please excuse me, thank you very much." Like, super cordial and humble. You never know this hood up. And my son's like, "That's Travis Hunter," and I was like, "Yeah." And everyone's like, "That was Travis Hunter," and I was like, "Yeah, bro. He's not like walking on water and shit around here. He's just a dude that does stuff really well. Like, he's a bad man, and he's super humble and hungry." And like, I think that the misconception is because they maximize the social media level so much, And there's a lot of haters. And look, I'm with it. If you don't have haters,
you ain't popping.
You ain't doing shit.
You
ain't doing shit. And haters are a good thing, dog. I love the haters. The haters.
Somebody said that on Netflix, I heard.
Yeah, man. I love y'all. I love the haters. You are my best friends.
Haters is a sign that you are doing something. Like, if you don't have it, it's like, damn, I must not be doing enough. Like,
exactly. Fuck. So you can't be a yes man, get along with everybody all the time. And look, there's a lot of people that I disagree with in the world that I have a lot of respect for because they stand by what they think, and they say what they preach and live a certain way, and and I respect that shit. If you stand by, stand on it. If you stand on your word and you're a stand-up dude, stand-up chick, I'm gonna take that seriously. So look, man, Coach Prime is that dude. I like everything throughout the interview. You can go and watch it. It's only about 35 minutes. It was fun. We had a good time. I mean, if you want me to go up there all angry and shit, that's not me. Like, I know I get fired up on the show every now and then, but I'm not the angry dude that's like.
I think that's why those few haters are. I think they got you misconceptualized because you and JB are kind of like the tough guys on the show as far as going in. So I think they think that Matt walks around just like this all day, just.
Bailey has one clip that I wanted to play before we move on because I know I'm just dropping in today. I'll be back on tomorrow. That Matt's Monster segment yesterday kicked ass, guys. That was awesome. But Bailey, play this clip real quick about Shador, and this is how we opened up the show yesterday. Remember, 0 to 60 pod on YouTube. Like and subscribe. You can go on there and follow everything on Twitter as well, 0 to 60 pod, and all the different platforms on social media.
Smiles at him, spits blood, and you wipe it off with your sleeve.
Right.
And he goes out there and wins in double overtime.
Yeah.
Throws up the watch. As a father and a coach, was that the moment where you were? I know you already knew, but was that another step in just the growth and maturation process?
We've everything you're seeing. We've been there before.
Right.
Everything you're seeing with those two young men, we've done it before. You're just getting a chance to see it in a Colorado uniform. But everything that we've seen, we know. I'm mic'd every game, so for the documentary and everything. So you could hear me. You could replay the documentary. When we got the ball back, I said he's going to drive us down. We're going to win. And I told Coach Kelly that was sitting right beside me. We're going to win.
Baller.
Hey, did you ask him about?
Dope as fuck.
Did you ask him about the Paris fucking walk?
Nah, but we talked about the spring game and how they're doing. Now they're doing a huge fashion show with all the student athletes. Now he's getting everybody involved. The more it goes on, the more his plan makes sense. Sometimes you just look, geniuses don't sit around and worry about what we think. They do, and then we react, and people probably, I'm a victim of it too. I criticize walking in Paris and shit, make business practice. The way we talked about it. But then when it goes full circle, he's setting that's a setup for the next thing he's doing, which incorporates everybody now at the University of Colorado and all the female athletes and a bunch of regular dudes. He's got a class, bro. A class at the University of Colorado you can take. Coach Prime's class. I can't remember the name, the real name of it, but I saw a couple of videos. Yes, he had to sign an NDA to be in the class, and you're just in there kicking it with Coach Prime. I'll tell you, I ain't sleeping through that bitch. I'm at that class. His book's about to come out, the 21 rules to, dominate life or whatever it's called. And I'm excited about that for him. He's always doing, man. And that's, as an entrepreneur and a guy who looked up to him anyway as the player he was with the pure swag, the more I learn about his business and how he attacks the marketing and how he attacks social media, it inspires me to do the same. So look, man, out here in the world, and then we'll move on. I'm sure that we got other shit to talk about. If you don't get inspired by greatness, if you don't have this feeling, you don't wake up every morning and your palms itch and your fingers tingle and you're like, I'm ready to go today. Today's a good one. Man, I feel sorry for you, dog. Your hate and your vindicting towards us and we and me, that shit don't mean nothing. It's just fuel for the fire because that motherfucker's burning.
Hey, what do you say about the fight song?
So we actually asked him that at the end of the interview. He goes, so do you have all your questions answered? You got to press me. And I'm like, I guess I asked everything. He's like, do you really? do you really have all your people want to know about the fight? Let's talk about the fight song. So he kind of brought it up. So I brought it up. And he was like, look, when we start winning, we'll start worrying about singing. And I was like, God damn it. That's the best point I've ever heard. And he's like, me to throw a beat into it. And I was like, you get All Eyes on Me and the See You Fight song meshed together. That shit might be dope. So we might need to throw a beat behind the See You Fight song. I'll sing it. Somebody out there, give me a beat. Like Snoop Dogg's on his Mount Rushmore. That was a pretty, I asked him about his Mount Rushmore of hip hop, and he went into it, and then it went from like hip hop to R&B to Luther Vandross at the end, dog. It was pretty.
Hey, so I got to ask you hard questions since we're the realest show on planet Earth.
What?
Are you telling us right now that you're changing your tone on something you were very, very animate about on the fight song? Because I've talked to Darian Hagan. I've talked to others. Like I talked to, Chev and Darian and you. You all were on the same page about the fight song. Are you changing your narrative?
No, look, and we talked about this too. I think it's important to sing, but it's also more important to win, and trying to establish a new tradition is also important. Then he brought up the fact they brought in like 80 new dudes. They just didn't know. And it wasn't, they're not saying it wasn't priority, but it wasn't. Like they were more concerned with beating TCU than learning how to sing a fight song. I don't have a problem with that after hearing about it. But then, I agree with him. Like, look, man, throw your own twist into this. But if they win, they'll sing the song. I'm sure they will moving forward because he knows it's important. We talked about the rivalry aspect, and like so many of the guys that he played against in the NFL or in college and in high school are now his best friends and teammates in the NFL, and how rivalries kind of grow from that. He brought up the CSU thing with Coach Norvell. That is not a friendly rivalry. There's some tension there, dog, and I love it because there should be with that game. That game next year up in Fort Collins is going to be a madhouse. I guarantee you that game day and everybody and their mother is there for that one. That one's going to be a good one. But he was like, he had to learn about the Nebraska rivalry. He had to learn about why you can't wear red at the facility, and he was like, and damn it, that's my favorite color. And I was like, yeah, man, but it's off limits. You can't do it. So. He's new to this as well, bro, and he's not afraid to say he is. Like Coach Prime, the best thing about Coach Prime, other than the way he makes you feel, because that's really his power. He makes everybody feel special, man, that he meets. Every single person. My whole team yesterday, he walked up to every one of them and shook their hands and introduced himself and looked them in the face. He ain't got to do that shit. He's Deion Sanders. But not only that, but his ability to kind of just understand what's needed in order to like maximize. I mean, it's so unique, bro. I'm blown away. I know I sound like I'm impressed, and goddamn it, I am. And watch the interview and tell me if you had that kind of access and you get to do a show and you get that guest, you wouldn't be hyped and impressed and excited about it.
Hey man, I loved your picture. I loved your picture with him because like I've noticed over like the year of me just knowing you, anytime you take a picture with somebody who you respect or love or is a teammate or whoever, you got this like almost this kid-like type of like energy that you can see. And I mean that in a respectful way, obviously, like in a happy, just like, look at your face right here, man. You just excited.
He's one of my favorite players of all time, and like I told him off air, like, is it weird that so many big dudes idolize you too? I was like, I could never pick the ball off and high step in, but I tried. I was trying on the practice field and on the out there at recess, dog. I was trying to be prime time. I'm just, it's lunchtime with me. It ain't prime time. So, but yeah, man. I mean, he's just a genuine dude, bro, that really understands it. And this is why football dudes are different. It's like military and everything else that's a frat or like a fraternity type atmosphere. It takes something to get in.
Yeah.
There's so much mutual respect between ballers, and you can't, like I said earlier, you can't buy it. You can't replicate it. And there's a lot of people that want to be in that bubble that try so hard to get in it, and you can't unless you strapped. So unless you strapped up and like there's respect behind your name, which is, I value my name greatly. I value this shield greatly. It means something to me. The fact that, Coach Loadholt came up and was so, he was awesome talking about the body bags and how much they use them and how big they are. He wants me to come up and do like a tutor session with the offensive line to show him exactly how to use it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's roll. When you hear that kind of shit, your name carries weight. And my coach in college, the great Gary Barnett, used to always say, you play for the name on the front of this jersey and you play for the name on the back of that jersey. It says Colorado and Mcchesney. And I take that, I play for the name on the front of my shirt and I walk around that Dungeon family on the back or Mcchesney on the back, whatever it is. I never forget what's on my back that people are watching. So keep watching because we just getting started. This is just the fucking beginning. The takeover continues. We got Max Crosby coming up. We got Mike Pennell coming up. Man, we got some dudes, son. Derek Wolf is going to be coming on the show shortly. Let's see. Matt Rule from Nebraska's head coach. We got Kelly Dinningham from Arizona State's going to come on. Ryan Walters, head coach of Purdue. Shit.